And the irony is, we are trying to serve God for what he has given freely by grace. So that word saved is not limited to spiritual salvation. It's a holistic word that saves spirit, soul, and body, and in every area of your life. He showers you. Now here's the irony. He gives it to me freely, but I can't accept that he's that gracious. I can't accept that he loves so unconditionally. Surely there must be something I've got to do. Surely there must be something that I must do to gain the blessing. And God says, if you do, you can't have it. You can't have not one crumb of the blessing if you seek to earn it with your obedience, because it's by grace you have been saved through faith, by my graciousness, by my goodness, not yours, by my holiness, not yours, by my righteousness, not yours. It's about me so that it can be about us. He yearns for you. Now watch. The book of Galatians, the whole book talks about some false ministers came into town and began to teach the Galatians that they had to get circumcised. And Paul went on an outrage, literally a tirade if you read the book. Here's what he said. Paul said, if you get circumcised, if you follow one rule, if you try to be obedient, to be blessed on any occasion, if you're trying to earn my grace, that which I've given freely to you, he says, and I quote, that ye have fallen from grace. And he goes on to say that Christ has become of no effect to you, that the cross and the price Jesus paid, you have alienated yourself. You stepped outside of the jurisdiction of the kingdom. You stepped outside of the jurisdiction of the blood. You stepped outside of the relationship that Jesus died and bought and paid for, so that you and him could walk together. And that's the danger. And he goes on to say that if you do try to follow the rules, to be blessed, to be righteous, to earn God's acceptance, to earn God's blessing, then there's a curse. Because he says that cursed is he that does not follow all the rules of the law. What that means is, Paul said, because you, Galatians, focus on trying to keep the rules to earn my blessing, then, he says, then there's a curse, because then you have to obey all the rules. If it's by your righteousness, then you've got to be perfect. You see, this is what Jesus did for you on the cross. When he said it is finished, that means he was the perfect sacrifice. But if you make it up to your obedience before you're blessed, then you've got to be perfect. And if you're not, then as cursed is he who does not follow all the requirements of the law, is what the book says. And that's why, for some of you, the more you try to be obedient, the more your life falls apart. Haven't you ever noticed that? That the more obedient to what God is telling you, whether it be the law or even spiritual law, come on now, whether it be law or even spiritual law, the more you try to please God, the worse your life has fallen apart. Haven't you ever noticed that? It's like signs and wonders are working against you. In the strictest sense, it almost seems like just bad luck. The harder you try to serve, the worse it gets. You are almost better off. And see, this is what's happened. You stepped outside of the jurisdiction of the kingdom, outside of the context of relationship with God, and you stepped right dead out of the boundaries and into the waiting curse.